60,000 girls under the age of 15 are at the risk of FGM in the UK.
It's against this background that Norbury School is taking the lead in raising awareness and understanding of female genital mutilation, or FGM, amongst its pupils.
No one can do anything with my body without my permission.
Okay, I like your idea.
Group work and feedback form an important part of the integrated programme of FGM teaching at Norbury School, which is a knowledge centre for safeguarding.
No, I know, I say that. The government should make sure to take that.
And the programme is delivered in the context of the UNICEF Rights Respecting Schools initiative. The lessons are delivered to pupils from years 3 to 6 in both mixed and girls-only classes.
There are practices that happen in the world that do not respect my body, my rules slogan.
Our commitment started after I'd gone to a meeting in central London that told me that FGM was happening at a much younger age than I think we all realised, and that it was happening at primary school and even before primary school. And therefore, I felt that our safeguarding here is so strong, yet then when I came back from that meeting and I went into that assembly and I saw all of those girls' faces and they all look up to me and they all expect me to look after them, I realised I was letting them down. And I really had a commitment from that point onwards that I said I cannot go into any assembly again and look those girls in the eye and say I haven't done the best by you.
So let's break those 3 words down. Female genital mutilation.
Teachers have found the pupils are eager to know more about the cruel and illegal practice of FGM, and each lesson raises many questions.
What does it mean to you?
How does the cutting thing start?
Why do people if they know it's going to hurt them, why do they choose to do it?
The people that do it, do they go to prison or anywhere?
When it happens, how long does it take to heal, or does it not even heal?
It can take anywhere from a week to your whole life.
We were very nervous about how the children would receive the information about what happens to so many women all over the world. And actually we were very surprised by how mature they were and incensed, and rightly so. They didn't really understand why this was happening and why in particular it was happening here in the UK.
We also need to work with communities.
We explained to them that it's a cultural practice that has been happening for over 2,000 years, and they'll scratch their heads and ask why it hasn't stopped. But it is great to see that they're so passionate about wanting it to end.
Culture.
Also, we were worried about parents, how they would react to their children learning about something that's frankly quite grim. And we've had mainly support from our parents, maybe 1 or 2 asking why we're teaching their children about FGM. We explain that even if your child isn't going to undergo FGM, it's still something they should learn about, because a friend of theirs might well undergo FGM. And when you put it to them like that, they kind of think about it for a minute and come back to you and say that they understand. So we've had huge support from parents, ones that had never heard of the practice, ones that have undergone FGM themselves, that have been very open about how it's affected their lives. And we're very happy with the support we've had from parents and the understanding we've had from our children.
When a girl or a lady through FGM is cut or sliced, it does change the way the vagina works. And that is why it is illegal. That is why it is not allowed.
The teaching of FGM sits within the overall child protection curriculum at the school.
Where do you find help? Who do you tell? Sometimes the people that love you the most actually agree with FGM. They think it's the right thing to do. So who would you go to? Who could be a trusted adult?
It's Tanya.
It could be me. Who else could it be?
A policeman.
Oh, it could be a police officer. You're right, Syra. a teacher, an adult at school. It could be a police officer. Who else do you trust?
Maybe your friends?
Yes, you could do. Guys, it could be one of you. It could be a friend.
The children are made aware of sexual abuse and what they can do to protect themselves through the activities and discussions of the PANTS programme.
S is for speak up to an adult, they will always help you. Fantastic.
These lessons begin in reception and are age appropriate. This all forms part of the wider dialogue that Norbury School is having with the local community, which is fundamental in bringing about real change.
FGM education has been going on for a long time, yet there's been very little progress of the practice stopping. And what we decided we wanted to do was, with our community, because of our ethos, we could actually say, well, let's work together, step by step, small steps together, because what we want to do is understand, know the facts, and create an education plan that is not judgmental. It's about actually saying, let's educate together, let's work together, and actually let's listen. And once we started to bring the community in and have small coffee mornings whereby we sat and we spoke with our community alongside my community leaders and my learning mentor, we were able to say, gosh, there is so much out there in this community. People want a voice, people want to be heard, and they want to be heard not just because they are survivors of FGM, but actually because there is a conflict. Because as a mum, what do I do with my children? What do I do with my daughter? Because there's an awful lot of pressure from families, both in the UK and extended families beyond, that are saying to those mums, you want your daughter to be right and proper, this is what needs to happen to them.
Parents' responses have been overwhelmingly positive, and many have said that they are glad to have this support from the school.
Especially in the current situation of our day and age, where it is very widespread and prevalent across the world, I think people need to be educated more about the horrific situation of FGM. And rather than bury our heads in the sand, it's important to be aware. For children these days as well, as they're growing up, to know more about FGM as a situation that is prevalent in the world.
It's very important for children to learn about how to keep safe. We're now understanding that things we were told as children, having undergone FGM myself, I've been told things that I now know to be untrue. There are no benefits to having FGM, and yes, it's important for the children to learn, but it's also equally as important to have discussions, meetings and conversations with parents who support the practice in order to educate them and convince them that it's not the right thing to do. I've been through a lot of trauma from having undergone FGM myself. I do not want my daughter to go through the same trauma.
Are you raising awareness with boys as well as at the primary school as well as the girls?
The boys have been just as passionate as the girls.
Norbury School is committed to publicising the success of the initiative and to promoting the programme more widely.
Parents don't.
As part of this commitment, sessions are run to train teachers from other schools and in other boroughs.
FGM, this happens to women, it happens to children. This can't happen, that's why we're rapping. This affects the world and harms us girls. Yeah!
Whoa!
And we want our children to be able to be empowered citizens, so this practice stops. And whether you are in a practicing community or not, you need to know about it. And you need to know about it because it's your voice that's going to make a difference.
I think you're teaching us because we have to be aware in the world about what's going on. And if we grow up to become someone who can stop things, like such bad things happening, then we'll be able to know what has happened and who to get help from.
My parents were really happy because they want me to be aware of what's happening, and so they know, so I know what I can do if it happens to me. And so they want me to know what's happening, and they gave me some more information.
Our parents, they wouldn't really talk to us about it, so it's good that the school is talking to us and informing us, because we don't know what the future is going to be like. Maybe it's going to happen to us. And my parents, after that, they explained me a bit more,
what FGM is, and after lessons about FGM, I have been going home and speaking to them about it, so they're up to date as well.
I have a problem. I oppose to FGM. Something must be done. Quick! It says in the UNICEF rights that children being abused is clearly illegal. Then why does it happen? I'm still waiting for my answer.
It is apparent that the tradition predates Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, so we know that the practice is not a religious rite. FGM has been condemned by religious leaders, and it has been made clear that it is an act of violence against women. That it is an act of violence against women. That it is an act of violence against women.